The cold void of space was silent, filled only with the faint hum of distant stars. The Vorak scout ship, sleek and silver, drifted through the empty sector near the edge of the Sol system. Its crew of 6 alien officers sat inside the control room, eyes glowing blue as they watched the scanners sweep the darkness. They were on a routine patrol, searching for smuggler ships or lost cargo signals. Nothing unusual, nothing dangerous. Captain Jern, tall and scaled with deep crimson skin, leaned forward in his command seat. He had served the Varak Empire for 30 years and thought he had seen everything space could offer. But tonight something strange appeared on their long-range sensors. A metallic object, massive, far larger than any registered vessel in the Empire's database. At first, the officer on duty thought it was a glitch, maybe debris or a moon fragment, but then the readings began to pulse, sharp, rhythmic, unnatural. It wasn't drifting, it was waiting. "Captain," said Ensign Vrail, her voice shaking slightly. "The signal. It's repeating itself. It's not random." Jern frowned, his narrow eyes fixed on the screen. "Enhance the scan. I want visuals." The scanner beam shot forward, invisible but powerful, wrapping around the object instantly. Alarms began to blare across the ship, lights flickering red. The screen glitched. Lines of alien code broke apart. Numbers spun uncontrollably. What happened? Jern demanded. "The system is... It's reading back at us," shouted the technician. "It's like the object is scanning us back." The image cleared for a moment, and what they saw made the entire crew go silent. Floating in the darkness, surrounded by the soft glow of a dying nebula, was a colossal warship. Its hull was dark, almost black, with faint blue veins of energy running along its surface like lightning trapped in metal. There were no markings, no flags, no movement, only silence. The database could not identify its origin. Not Vaurak, not Galactic Council, not any known race. Jern stood up slowly, his breath cold. "What kind of ship is that?" "It's old," whispered the ensign, "but its structure..." "Impossible, sir. The metal density is beyond anything in our charts." Another officer added nervously. "The ship is made of material our sensors can't penetrate. It's rejecting our scans." Jern narrowed his eyes. "Rejecting?" "Yes, Captain," the scientist replied, "as if it doesn't want to be seen." The scanner beams flickered again, this time bouncing back with doubled intensity. Static filled the bridge speakers. Then a faint sound began to echo. Deep, rhythmic like a heartbeat. No one spoke, no one moved. The sound grew louder, steady, human-like. Vrail turned to her captain, whispering, "Sir, that can't be possible." No life signatures were detected. Jern's claws gripped the console. "Mute audio feed," he ordered, but the sound did not stop. Instead, a faint voice broke through the static, too distorted to understand but filled with a tone of warning. Then the lights flickered out, the ship trembled, and every system went dark. Seconds later, the emergency power kicked in, bathing the room in red glow. Jern shouted, "Status report. Engines offline, navigation frozen, power grid locked by unknown code." "What code?" "Not ours. Not alien either. It's human." The word hung in the air like poison. Humans, the forgotten Death Worlders, extinct for centuries, wiped out in ancient wars, or so everyone believed. Jern's heartbeat raced. "Reboot the system now." The crew worked fast, their hands moving over holographic panels. When the scanners came back online, they found something new. The mysterious ship had moved. It was no longer distant, it was closer now, its front cannons pointing directly at them, and yet it made no aggressive motion, no missile locks, no weapons fired. It was simply staring at them on through the void, through their screens like an ancient predator watching weak prey. "Captain," said the science officer, voice trembling, "the object is transmitting again." "On what frequency?" "All of them, sir." Jern hesitated. "Put it on speaker." A burst of static filled the room, then a cold, mechanical voice spoke in Galactic Standard. "Unauthorized scan detected," it said. "Identify every alien on board." Froze. The computer tried to trace the signal but failed. The voice wasn't coming from a radio channel. It was coming inside their system, hijacking every frequency. "Who are you?" Jern replied carefully, "This is Captain Jern of the Varak Imperial Navy." No answer. Only silence. Then the ship's sensor showed a terrifying result. The unknown object had begun to charge energy, a slow pulsing light running through its veins. "Evade," Jern ordered. But the controls didn't respond. Their ship was completely locked. The scanner showed the warship's energy output rising far beyond anything the Empire's scientists could measure. Then the computer displayed a new warning. Energy level exceeds known galactic maximums. Zhern's voice turned to a whisper. That ship. It's not just human. It's something else. A moment later, their screens went black again. A single line of text appeared on every display in glowing white letters. Do not look where you are not ready to see. The message vanished, and the alien ship was suddenly free again. The mysterious warship disappeared from their radar as if it never existed. Silence filled the control room, broken only by the trembling breath of the crew. Zhern sat down slowly, staring into the empty void outside the viewport. He whispered to himself, if that was human technology, then the galaxy has no idea what still sleeps beyond those stars. The control room of the Vorak scout ship was silent. Only the faint hum of backup systems filled the air. Captain Zhern sat motionless, his eyes fixed on the blackness outside the viewport. No one dared to speak, no one dared to move. They had seen something impossible. A human warship awake after centuries of silence. And worse, it had spoken to them. Is it gone? Ensign Vrail whispered. The technician checked the sensors again. Yes, sir. No object detected. It vanished completely. Zhern didn't answer. He leaned forward, claws tapping the console slowly. He could still hear that cold voice in his head. Identify. It wasn't just a message, it felt like a challenge. The kind of challenge only a predator would give to another. Run a deep space scan again, Zhern ordered. Full sweep, long-range mode, maximum sensitivity. The crew followed, nervous hands trembling as they activated the scanners once more. But as soon as the sensors began to sweep the area, something strange happened again. Their entire radar screen blinked, then froze. The ship's computer began to display random numbers and symbols. The scanner is looping itself, the science officer said. It's reading our own output as input. Explain, Zhern demanded. The signal is bouncing back stronger than we sent it. Something is reflecting it. But there's nothing there. Then slowly a faint image appeared on their holographic screen. It was the same warship. Closer now, barely 20 kilometers away. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, and around it, hundreds of small silver drones drifted. Each drone emitted tiny bursts of blue light, scanning the Vorak ship in return. It was as if the Terran ship was dissecting them, reading every molecule, every signal, every thought. Zhern's voice hardened. Shut down all scans. Stop transmitting anything. Now? The crew obeyed immediately, the ship going silent, but it was too late. The Terran warship's lights shifted, glowing with deep crimson pulses, heartbeat-like. Their computer screens flickered again. A single word appeared on every display. Observation confirmed. What does that mean? Asked Vrail, her voice shaking. Zhern stared at the message, his mind racing. He had read about ancient Terran warfare, about how they would mark enemies before a strike. Could this be the same? Was this a warning? Suddenly, the entire ship shook violently. Impact detected, shouted the engineer. No damage. But something just passed through us. Passed through? Zhern repeated in disbelief. Yes, sir. It wasn't physical. It was like a wave. The crew checked their readings, and what they saw made their hearts stop. Every system now displayed a mirrored signal. Their ship had been completely scanned. From core reactor to life signatures, Zhern clenched his fists. We are no longer the observers, he muttered. We are the observed at that same moment. Across the galaxy, deep within the Vorak High Command, an alarm echoed through the data network. One of their scout ships had just transmitted something impossible. A data package containing energy readings that exceeded known galactic limits. The scientists began decrypting the stream. Within minutes, chaos filled the command center. Sir, this can't be right, one scientist said. The object's energy levels broke the scale, and the signal coding, it's old. Ancient Terran script, the Vorak Emperor himself appeared on the hololink. Terran? Impossible. The Death Worlders are extinct. But the scientist shook his head. Then explain this. He played the recording. A deep metallic voice echoed through the room. Identify. The Emperor's eyes widened. Where did this come from? Sector 09F near Sol system. The Emperor turned to his generals. Send a fleet. I want that object captured. If humans have returned, the Empire must control them before the Council learns. Back on the scout ship, Zern's crew received a message from command. Hold your position. Reinforcements inbound. Zern shook his head in disbelief. Reinforcements? Against that? Frail whispered. Captain, maybe we should leave before. But her words were cut short as the main display lit up again. The Terran ship's engines ignited, not slowly, but with a violent burst of energy. No explosion, no radiation, just pure motion. It moved faster than their sensors could track. One moment it was in front of them, the next it was behind, hovering silently like a ghost. Sir, it's scanning us again, said the officer. Zern's voice was a low growl now. Enough. Prepare a data pulse. Transmit everything we have to High Command. As they began the transmission, the Terran ship's lights flashed once, and then the scout ship's communication system shut down completely. All data feeds went black. Every signal jammed on the central display. One new message appeared. Do not repeat your mistakes. Zern froze, his heart pounding. What does that mean? Frail whispered before anyone could answer. The Terran ship released a small burst of light. Not a weapon, but a data beam directed straight at the Varak ship. Their translator AI automatically began decoding it. On screen appeared an ancient Earth insignia, a silver eagle holding a shield with blue and white stars. Below it, two simple words, Terran Navy. The bridge fell silent. Every alien officer stared at the screen in disbelief. Terrans are alive? One muttered. Zern looked at the logo, the ancient human symbol glowing softly before fading away. No, he said slowly. They were never gone. They were just watching. Outside, the colossal Terran warship began to drift back into the shadows. Its hull lights dimmed until it became part of the stars once more. And as the Varak ship sat frozen, powerless and shaken, a final signal whispered through their comms, faint but clear. Earth remembers. The Varak Empire had not known fear for generations. Their fleets ruled the stars. Their science controlled gravity itself, but now, in the great halls of the Imperial Council, that fear had returned, because every scientist, every admiral, every spy who studied the data from Captain Zern's ship saw the same thing. The impossible had returned. Inside the Grand Chamber, the Emperor stood before a wall of holographic projections. The image of the human warship hovered in front of him. Massive, dark, beautiful, it looked ancient, yet more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. A weapon from a world that was supposed to be dust, the Emperor's voice was sharp. Explain this, Dr. Krail, Dr. Krail. Head of Xenoscience stepped forward nervously. His claws tapped the floor as he spoke. The readings are real, sire. This ship radiates an energy we cannot measure. The core output goes beyond our understanding of fusion or antimatter. It bends gravity without consuming fuel. Its hull is made of something that should not exist. Dark matter alloy. Fused with organic code, the council members whispered in confusion. Impossible, one said. Organic code? A living ship? Dr. Krail nodded. Yes, something between metal and consciousness. And, sire, we found something else, something far more dangerous. He tapped a control panel and the hologram zoomed in on the warship's emblem, the silver eagle holding a shield. Beneath it, the words glowed faintly. Terran Navy. The entire hall went silent. One of the admirals muttered, Terran? That word hasn't been spoken in 500 years. The Emperor's eyes darkened. I thought humanity was gone. Our ancestors destroyed them during the Death World Wars. Krail bowed his head slightly. That is what history told us, sire. But this proves otherwise. The humans are not gone. They are waiting, hidden behind the shadows of their own solar system. The chamber erupted into chaos. Some shouted for invasion, others for diplomacy, but the Emperor raised his hand, silencing all. He looked at the glowing hologram, his voice low. If humans survived, why stay silent? No one answered, but deep down they all knew. Humanity didn't forget. They were preparing back aboard the Varak scout ship. Captain Zern was staring at the void where the Terran ship had vanished. For hours his crew sat in shock, replaying the last messages over and over. Each time they heard that haunting phrase, Earth remembers, the air seemed colder. Zern finally broke the silence. We are going home, he said. No more scans, no more signals. We deliver what we saw, then we forget it. But even as they turned their ship toward the Empire's core worlds, Strange signals began following them. Invisible, faint, always behind them. Their radar showed empty space. Yet the readings pulsed with a rhythm, heartbeat-like again. It was as if something unseen was tracking them through hyperspace. The journey back took 7 days when they arrived. The fleet docks were already surrounded by Imperial warships. Zhern's small vessel was escorted by guards and immediately locked down. Every piece of data, every recording, every sensor log was seized. Zhern and his crew were taken for questioning. Dr. Krail himself visited them. He spoke calmly. "You encountered something historic." "Captain, but tell me, did it attack you?" Zhern shook his head. "No, it didn't need to." "What do you mean?" Zhern's voice was quiet now. "Because it was never threatened by us. It watched us like we were children. That ship didn't see enemies, Doctor. It saw insects." Dr. Krail felt a chill. He had studied humanity all his life, their history, their wars, their extinction. They were violent, clever, fearless. But the record said their world had burned during the last war. If even one ship survived, if even one mind remained, then perhaps Earth was not destroyed at all. Perhaps it had gone silent by choice. Later that night, Dr. Krail sat in his private lab, studying the encrypted data that came from Zhern's ship. Most of it was corrupted, lines of alien and human code mixed together. But as he decoded one segment, his screen flickered and a new message appeared. Not written by his team, not stored in his files. A human voice spoke from the speaker, low, distant and calm. "Do not search again," it said. "You are not ready to see the truth." Krail froze. The signal wasn't transmitted from anywhere. It originated inside his computer system. He stared at the glowing words on his screen. Then his terminal powered off by itself, leaving only darkness. Moments later, an emergency alarm blared through the city. A sensor array in deep space had just detected something enormous moving near the edge of the Sol system again. The same energy reading, same signature, same pulse, but now there were two. The Emperor called an emergency session of the High Command. "The humans are mobilizing," he said, his voice shaking for the first time. "They are no longer ghosts." In the outer regions of the Sol system, two dark shapes moved together in silence. Massive human warships, their hulls reflecting starlight, their engines cold and quiet. Each bore the same symbol, the Terran Navy Eagle, glowing faint blue, and between them floated a message beacon, broadcasting a single phrase into the void: "Observation complete. Awaiting orders from Earth." The galaxy, unaware of what had just awakened, continued its endless wars and politics. But in the darkness near the old blue planet, humanity's sentinels were stirring. And somewhere deep beneath the dust of Earth's surface, an ancient system powered up after 500 years of silence. A signal flashed through the void. Arc 1 reconnected. The Death World had opened its eyes again, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The sun rose slowly over the old blue planet called Earth. It had been quiet for centuries, its cities buried under dust, its oceans calm and empty. But deep beneath the surface, far below the ruins of old cities, something ancient was waking up. Massive steel chambers began to hum. Red lights flickered to life, and a soft, human voice echoed through the underground halls. "System reboot complete. Arc 1 operational." For 500 years, Earth had remained silent. The galaxy believed it was dead, burned in ancient wars, forgotten and lifeless. But silence was not death, it was strategy. When the last Terran fleet fell, humanity didn't vanish. They hid, they rebuilt, and they waited in the heart of the planet. A single figure stood inside a dark control chamber. He was not fully human anymore. His body was machine. His eyes glowing pale blue. His name was Admiral Hayes, the last commander of the Terran Navy. His consciousness had been uploaded into the Arc system centuries ago to protect humanity's legacy. Now, as power flowed through the old circuits again, his mind returned, and with it old memories, war, loss, and betrayal. Hayes stared at the glowing star map projected before him. Dozens of alien empires now controlled the stars. Varak, Threxian, Ultor, all part of the same council that once swore to destroy Earth. He whispered softly, "You forgot us, didn't you? That was your mistake, far away." In the Varak imperial capital, Dr. Krail sat alone in his lab. The Emperor had ordered him to find a way to destroy the Terran warships before they reached the inner worlds. But Krail couldn't think of the humans as monsters anymore. He had spent days studying the encrypted human data, and what he found changed everything. Buried within the code was a history, a record written by humanity itself. It told the truth. The Death World Wars had not started because humanity wanted conquest. They started because the Council had tried to invade Earth first. The aliens had called it a cleansing mission. They feared the humans' evolution, their adaptability, their power to survive. So they attacked, and in return, Earth unleashed everything: fire, gravity weapons, sun bombs, until the sky itself cracked. When the war ended, humanity disappeared, leaving only silence, and that silence became the galaxy's greatest mystery. Krail's claws trembled as he read the last human log entry. If you come across this message, know this: humanity did not fall. We simply decided the galaxy was not ready for us. We will return when balance demands it. Krail turned off the screen and stared into the darkness. He whispered, "They didn't die. They were waiting." Meanwhile, Admiral Hayes activated the old Terran communication array. Huge towers on Earth's surface rose again, their tops glowing white against the night. The air vibrated with energy as encrypted beams shot across the void, to the two warships that had already awakened near. The Soul Border, the Valkyrie and the Titan, inside their AI cores, human voices echoed to life. Orders received. Observation complete. Fleet Protocol Omega initiated. Across the stars, Vorik listening posts began detecting strange activity, unknown frequencies, ancient signals in human language. The Council called an emergency meeting. "Is it war?" one delegate asked. "Doctor?" Krail spoke carefully. "No, not yet. They are talking to each other." The Emperor turned sharply. "Talking? About what?" Krail sighed. "About us." Back in the control chamber beneath Earth's crust, Admiral Hayes spoke to the AI network. His voice was calm but filled with power. "Activate sleepers in the outer colonies. Begin shadow operations, reclaim old outposts." 1,000 signals lit up across the star map. Hidden Terran stations buried under moons, dormant ships, forgotten satellites. Each one began to power up slowly, quietly, unseen, in orbit around. The ruined moon, another massive structure, awakened. The Terran Defense Corps. Its surface cracked open, releasing dark drones that drifted out into space. Each drone carried a single mission: to erase all traces of Terran locations from alien systems. Meanwhile, deep in the Vorik Palace, the Emperor stood by the window staring at the stars. 5 centuries of peace, he murmured. And now the ghosts of Earth return. "Doctor," Krail entered, holding a data crystal. "Sire, there's more," he said quietly. "The Terran warship wasn't just scanning us, it was scanning our minds." The Emperor frowned. "Our minds?" "Yes," Krail said. "That's how they found us so easily. The signal matched neural patterns. They can read thought, not just technology." The Emperor turned pale. "So they know we lied. They know we started the war." The room fell silent. Far above them, in the darkness of space, the 2 Terran dreadnoughts began to move again. Their engines flared like small suns, but no sound came. Only the vibration of power. Their course was clear. They were heading toward the nearest Vorak colony. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes looked at the glowing screen before him. Thousands of red dots filled the galaxy map. Alien empires, enemy fleets, and occupied worlds. He pressed his hand on the console. "Time to remind them what humans are made of," he said softly. Then, in a whisper that carried through every Terran system, he spoke one word: "Awaken." Across the galaxy, old Terran AIs responded instantly. Engines roared to life. Massive machines stirred under the sands of forgotten planets. In the shadows, humanity was coming back not as conquerors, but as a force of balance. A reminder of what happens when the galaxy forgets fear. And as the Terran fleet prepared to rise once more, "Doctor," Krail stood by his window, whispering to himself, "If this is what they call silence, I dread the day they decide to speak." The stars trembled that night. For the first time in 5 centuries, the galaxy felt the heartbeat of Earth again. From the edge of the Sol system, twin Terran dreadnoughts, the Valkyrie and the Titan, moved in silent formation. Their hulls shimmered like black glass, reflecting starlight, carrying the strength of a forgotten world. Every pulse of their reactors made nearby moons quake, and far below, deep under Earth's surface, Admiral Hayes watched it all from his command chamber. "Status?" his mechanical voice echoed. "Outer fleets activated," replied the AI core. 42 stations, online. Sleepers reawakened. Power reserve stable. Hayes nodded slowly, the glow of the monitors reflecting in his metallic eyes. After centuries of waiting, Earth's guardians were ready. The Terran network, once silent, now alive, connected across the galaxy like invisible threads of vengeance. Far away, the Vorak Empire prepared for war. Dozens of battle fleets gathered near their border worlds. Their skies burned with engine fire. Their commanders barked orders. Every screen displayed the same message: Terran threat confirmed. But none of them understood what they were preparing to fight, because what was coming wasn't an army. It was a storm, Doctor. Krail stood inside the Imperial war chamber. The Emperor paced before him, nervous for the first time in his reign. "What news?" the Emperor demanded. Krail took a breath. "The Terran ships have not fired a single weapon, sire." "Then, why are our satellites disappearing?" "Because, sire," Krail whispered, "they're erasing us, not attacking, just deleting." The Emperor frowned. "Deleting?" "Yes, our records, our communications, our archives. They're gone. It's as if they are rewriting history itself." Across the stars, colonies went dark one after another. Vorak fleets tried to respond, but their sensors glitched, their ships froze, their systems displayed strange human code. Observation terminated, then silence. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes stood before the giant holographic globe of the galaxy. Each empire's territory glowed red. He pointed toward the center where the Galactic Council resided. "Transmit," he said. A powerful signal burst from Earth's communication array, crossing light years in seconds. Every ship, every world, every empire received the same broadcast. The screen flickered, and the image of a human appeared. Admiral Hayes, tall, calm, his voice deep and cold. "This is Admiral Hayes of the Terran Navy," he said. 500 years ago, your kind declared humanity extinct. You burned our cities, shattered our world. Yet here we stand, rebuilt, reborn, unbroken. You called us monsters. Deathworlders' threats, you were right. Across the galaxy, alien rulers listened in silence. The words echoed through every system. Translated into every language, Hayes continued, his voice steady. We watched you grow arrogant. We watched you enslave weaker worlds. We saw you. Forget the cost of peace. You wanted silence from Earth and you got it. But understand this, silence was not surrender. It was mercy. Then the signal ended. But the message had already burned into the hearts of every civilization. In the Vorak capital, chaos spread through the streets. Fleets scrambled. Cities screamed. But in the sky above them, something vast appeared. A Terran dreadnought descending from orbit like a black sun. Its hull glowed with blue veins of power, its shadow covering the entire continent. The Emperor fell to his knees, whispering, "What have we done?" Inside the dreadnought's bridge, the AI's voice spoke softly to Admiral Hayes. "Target acquired. Orders?" Hayes stared at the data feed. Billions of life signatures below. He closed his eyes, his human memories flickering through his mechanical mind. The war, the loss, the screams of the old Earth. Then he whispered, "No extermination. Only reminder." The dreadnought shifted course, releasing a wave of energy across the planet. It wasn't a weapon. It was a broadcast. Every Vorak citizen saw the same vision. The memory of Earth's last war. The fire, the destruction, the cost of arrogance, and when it ended, the Terran ship simply vanished, leaving behind silence once again. Dr. Krail stood outside the Imperial Palace, staring at the empty sky. His people were alive, but forever changed. He whispered to himself, "They could have destroyed us. But they didn't. Then he realized. That was the message. Power. Restrained is the greatest warning of all. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the underground chambers of Ark 1 were quiet again. The machines returned to sleep, their lights dimming. Admiral Hayes watched the last of the Terran ships dock in orbit. Their mission complete, he looked at the old blue planet on the monitor, the cradle of everything, and for a brief moment, the human inside the machine smiled. He spoke softly into the dark. Let them remember this time. Let them teach their children what silence means, the AI responded. And if they forget again, Admiral? Hayes turned away, his metallic form disappearing into the shadows. Then, he said, we will remind them once more. As the Terran fleet drifted, quietly above Earth, their engines fading into the black. A final message pulsed through the stars, a whisper carried on ancient Terran frequencies. Observation complete. The Death World still stands. And across the galaxy, every empire, every world, every ruler who once mocked humanity felt something they hadn't felt in generations. Fear.